Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Basketball Conference, the ACC Football Podcast. My name's Joey Weaver. He's Mike McDaniel. Mike, week 4 is mostly in the books. We still got one game going on, but still excited to talk about some games. How you doing?
I'm good. Just got back from Hilton Head. Joey, you mentioned this about 30 seconds ago. We're going to be crowdsourcing awards. So if you guys got awards this week, please, for the love of God, send them in. Your candidates for Go ACC Moment of the Week. Don't worry about the You Died award. I have a candidate in mind. Don't you worry about that. I'm good. I'm coming off of a very late evening last night. Had a wedding, family wedding for my wife's cousin. I had about half a dozen old fashions after drinking plenty of beers throughout the day. And we're sitting here recording at almost midnight. I got to take my kid to a Blue Angels event tomorrow.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner, about 3 hours away from where I'm sitting. So I get to go back in the car after being in Hilton Head and driving back today 8 hours. So I'm looking forward to that drive tomorrow morning. So we are recording.
We're here. We're live. YouTube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. It is a couple minutes before midnight on the East Coast. Cal might be in hell against San Diego State right now, a few minutes before halftime. So we're going to be monitoring that situation. I also have not had the single most focused day of game watching. Was at the grocery store, was at my kid's soccer game, was mostly just watching Georgia Tech Temple while other important things were going on. You know, it happens. It's fine. But we got a lot of games we're going to talk about, and, we'll see how it goes. But as mentioned, just off the top, awards. Brian Van Gorder Memorial, You Tried Award, Go ACC Moment of the Week, any of those things, any of these awards that we usually do on these shows. If you've got suggestions, if you've got nominations, please send them our way because we need help. We got about an hour here until we get to that, so you've got some time, but we need your help for those.
Early upset pick for You Died Award is my liver this weekend. I think that's a good candidate. Thank you, Will.
Yeah. Thankfully, you're still young, Mike. Thankfully.
That's, I say that, and then I drink like an idiot, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I am not young anymore.
You know who else is aging rapidly?
Bill Belichick.
Cal fans, they just missed a field goal, so this is going to be a problem.
Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, well, buddy, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, anything else before we get into a Rhoback rapid recap on the day?
10 minutes on the clock.
As a reminder, this is brought to you by Rhoback.com. Use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. Rhoback.com. All sorts of wonderful polos, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, athleisure wear, all sorts of great things at Rhoback.com. It's all very high quality. It feels fantastic, looks fantastic. Check out the game day collection. They've got specific shirts for most of the schools in the ACC. Very worth going to check out. Use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. We would appreciate you doing that. I think you're going to like it too, because we love our Rhoback shirts, like genuinely. They are great. That's basically what I wear to the office every day. Highly recommended. I love mine. I think you'll love yours.
Yeah, we love Rhoback.
Yeah.
Sorry,
absolutely.
I don't mean to ruin the ad read. I'm setting up the timestamps for Scott, who is a bit under the weather this evening. So
that's a good call out as well. Producer Scott, not with us tonight, has been in what I would assume is like daycare induced health hell lately.
Yeah, seems that way.
Yeah. Repeated flu-like symptoms and all sorts of stuff. So we will presumably see him again very soon. Thoughts and prayers and all that. But, he's a trooper. He's doing his best. So
yes,
it'll all be okay. Probably by like Tuesday or so. It'll be fine. So
that'll be good. We'll see him on the preview.
That's right. 10 minutes on the clock, Mike.
10 minutes on the clock.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Let's start in South Florida, where the number 4 Miami Hurricanes 26, Florida 7. A game that I don't think that this final score really indicates kind of what this game was or how close it was. A little bit ugly. We can get into this game and kind of what it means for Miami, but ultimately this is a bit of an ugly rock fight kind of win for Miami, but good to see him win this game. This is a good win for the Hurricanes, honestly, all things told.
I was impressed with the defense. Florida could do basically nothing on offense in the first half. Florida, of course, scored early in the second half, and it looked like the game was flipping a little bit on a Carson Beck interception on the ensuing possession, which really was just an outstanding play by the Florida defensive back. And Miami tightened the screws after that. You know, they got themselves back in check after I texted you saying this game feels like it might be flipping. It was not, because ultimately Miami's defense really held things down. So really impressed by the Hurricanes. Offensively, they left a lot of plays out there, some dumb penalties, stuff like that. But I think you have to feel pretty good about getting a win here against a team with 1 million athletes.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely, I would say more impressed with Miami's defense in this game, but I mean, that was a nasty defense they were playing against as well. So again, I was glad that I locked up the under in this game, put it that way.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is in absolutely zero particular order, by the way. Number 7, Florida State 66, Kent State 10. Do you get the impression, Mike, that Florida State is really kind of trying to prove a point with some of these early season games?
It was 45-7 at halftime.
Yeah, there was not a whole lot of call the dogs off with Mike Norvell right now. I think, especially, and I get it with the way that last season went. The Noles are keeping the pedal to the metal for a while in these games.
A big one in 2 weeks. Hell, for Florida State, a big one next Friday night.
Careful. Number 18, Georgia Tech 45, Temple 24. This was fine. Georgia Tech led by 7 or more for 57 minutes of this game. They were up by 20. What was it? 20? How many? 28, I think, with like a minute and a half left, and then Temple scored to kick the back door in, basically.
Significant to some including me.
Well, and then Temple scored again with 5 seconds left in the game. That was also significant to some. So
some including me.
There were some bad beat shenanigans late in the fourth quarter of this game that was already like totally decided. But that's fine. Georgia Tech played well enough. It got a little bit iffy in the middle 20 minutes or so, but on balance, Georgia Tech much better than Temple, and can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
It was fine.
Yeah. Also fine. Syracuse 34, Clemson 21. Syracuse fine, Clemson not fine, Mike.
Is Clemson going to a bowl game?
We're going to spend probably way too much time tonight talking about Clemson, because there are discussions that need to be had.
Yep. They have a quarterback problem. They have an offensive coordinator problem that actually might just be a head coach problem. Some Clemson fans are saying they have a Tom Allen problem. I disagree. I think they're just on the field the entire game.
It definitely doesn't help.
They got some issues.
I don't know how many things there are with Clemson that you can point at and say that's not a problem. Like, yeah. And not saying that like everything is definitively a problem, but almost anything could be a problem with this team. Like there's something seriously wrong, and it's not entirely clear specifically what it is. There's a lot of things that are not going as well as they should be.
It's life comes at you fast, because the team that was far and away the favorite to win the ACC now has like, I don't know, half a dozen teams better than them at least in the ACC, and probably more than that. So,
quick check of the standings, and dead last in the ACC. That would be correct. 0-2 before like half the league has even played a game. That's wow. Virginia Tech 38, Wofford 6. Okay, sure, fine.
Drones is really good.
Right,
fumble. Right. He's a fumbling machine, but Drones was really good.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of did what you were supposed to. You didn't put up a totally astounding number, but you won by a lot, so fine.
He had 5 incompletions, and most of them were drops. So
there you go.
Really nice. Took until game 4, but
how do we feel? I mean,
it's fine. We're on the board.
When it's not his fault, it's all right. Great.
Board.
TCU 35, SMU 24. Speaking of teams where something's missing a little bit, how are we feeling about SMU right now?
The defense isn't that good, Joey.
It's really not.
It's bad this year.
Yeah, that was upwards of 500 yards of offense from TCU in this game. TCU, I mean, probably pretty good, I think.
Yeah. I mean, could win the Big 12 based on what I've seen today. I've watched for the amount of games I've watched today. It's been a lot of Big 12 football for some reason. Arizona State, shout out, money line, baby.
Hey,
at the buzzer, never in doubt. TCU could win the Big 12.
I mean, TCU also 2-0 in ACC play for what that's worth. So,
oh god, yeah, it's 2 more wins than Virginia Tech and Clemson have.
Probably worth having a conversation here at the. I mean, not even the quarter post. You're at kind of a third of the way through the season with SMU and kind of what are and aren't they. So we can talk about that here in a little bit. Louisville 40, Bowling Green 17. I've told you before on this show, Mike, that my dad is a Louisville fan. He grew up in Louisville.
Yep.
It's kind of his first love. I asked him today, was this a backdoor cover situation? He was like, what's that? I was like, so I got to educate my dad on backdoor covers, which he saw in this game, and then he saw later in the Georgia Tech game.
Fun.
Yeah. Everyone's learning.
Oh, he's going to be learning DraftKings soon. Get ready to learn gambling, buddy.
Well, we were also sitting on the patio earlier, and he was asking about what are these plus 250 numbers next to these teams that aren't favored in games. It's like, oh, buddy, welcome to the show.
Man, welcome. Welcome to the show.
This was honestly a pretty good, easy win by Louisville. They led pretty big the whole time. I mean, this was, what was it, like 34-3, I think, mid fourth quarter. So Bowling Green punches a couple of late scores in to, again, kick the back door in, but this was ultimately Louisville was pretty dominant all the way through. So good showing from Louisville.
And our former friends at Bowling Green did not have it this afternoon.
They did have Pudge the Cat, but that was about it.
Okay, well, that's good. They had that going for them.
UCF 34, UNC 9. Back to your regularly scheduled programming for North Carolina. This is not good, Mike.
Nope. They got quarterback who's not good, and they're probably playing the wrong quarterback who's not good. So that's just the start of their issues.
Yeah. I mean, again, I barely even know where to begin with this program and kind of where they're at right now, because there was a lot more bravado and confidence in the offseason than there has been product on the field so far.
Bud Elliott might have been on to something when he said that they took everybody's transfers that nobody wanted.
Yeah. Probably not wrong there. Probably not wrong. Duke 45, NC State 33. Hello, Duke. Welcome back to the party.
What is the record for Dave Doran against Duke? It's not good. I'll find it for the section where we talk about this game. But yep. NC State defense, nowhere to be found. File, you go click on it on the computer, it says file not found. Yeah. That's where we're at.
I was going to say, I was, again, kind of score watching a little bit here early, and I was like, please remind me to never take another under in an NC State game this year. Like,
no, dude.
NC State's defense has moments where they look good, but they are mostly leaky as hell, and they're just playing shootout games left and right, and the chips are going to fall how they may with them.
Yeah, Dave Doran now 1-4 against Duke.
Oh, there you go.
So
that's not great.
It's not, especially considering, well, the Duke teams we've seen.
Exactly.
During Doran's tenure. Yeah, haven't all been good.
No. Virginia 48, Stanford 20. Back to your regularly scheduled programming for Stanford, although they did, I guess, blow the team total again this week. So
yeah, we're done betting those. I got something better for you next week.
I say that made a lot more sense the first couple weeks, but it seems like they are figuring a couple things out on offense. Virginia seems like they're figuring out a lot of things on offense, Mike. They are moving the ball well and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, one of the best offenses in the ACC.
And San Diego State just kicked another field goal. So final game at halftime, San Diego State 13, Cal nothing.
Uh-oh.
Cal, we okay? How we doing? Probably not okay.
And time, Joey. Right at 10 minutes.
Boom. Nailed it. True professional. Once again, use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order at Rhoback.com.
Touchdown Trojans.
The Trojans beating the Spartans here?
It's now PAT pending 17-7 in the second quarter. I got 2 games going. This and Cal game.
Can I just say, this is so much better than last year, where I felt like we came into last year and it was like, oh, the ACC added Stanford and Cal. And we're like, why are these Bay Area teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference? But at the same time, we were like, well, you know what? But it'll be kind of nice having that like late night, the drunk slate kind of game to watch while we're doing the recaps. And then there were only like 2 of those the whole year.
Yeah. And
now we're getting them like weekly, that we got something to watch while we're recapping games. I like this. This is what I want.
As God intended.
That's right. That's what we're here for. So, Mike, should we start working through some of these games from a deep dive standpoint? I think there's one place we got to start.
I have a fly flying around my office, and it's pissing me off.
Nice.
Just wanted to mention that. I keep going like this. I'm like, come on.
It's gonna be an allegory for one of these teams somewhere there. But anyways.
I think we're gonna start with Clemson.
I feel like we have to. Syracuse 34, Clemson 21 in Death Valley. Okay, I want to start here, Mike. Let me say this. My brother-in-law texted me at one point around halftime of this game and said, is this Clemson team going to be the same thing as last year's Florida State team? And he said it in the context of, well, Georgia Tech beat them early in the year, and we all got real excited about the win. And then it turns out that those teams kind of sucked, and that win didn't really do anything. To which I said, I feel like I've been consistent on this podcast. I don't think that Florida State last year had to be this bad.
Right. They didn't.
I think that they got to about the third quarter of the Boston College game, and that was where you saw the effort start to drop off. Like, I think they played well against Georgia Tech, and I think they played well for a while against Boston College in game 2, and it was after that the whole thing cratered. I think Clemson – sorry.
I was just going to say real quick, it's interesting you bring that up because I saw somebody tweet that this year's Clemson was actually supposed to be 2023 Florida State.
What, like making a ride to the playoff and that whole thing? Yeah, well, about that. Well, I was going to say, I mean, I felt like Clemson gave a good effort against LSU. I felt like they had a bit of a letdown situation against Troy. You get that. Let down, look ahead kind of situation. You lost LSU, all that. I get it.
Yeah.
I thought they played well. They played hard against Georgia Tech last week. I think they came out and started playing hard in this game, and then Syracuse got up early. And I think that's where you started to see, okay, I don't need this. I don't want this. There was kind of some effort issues. And I really don't want to do this to take anything away from Syracuse. I mean, going into Death Valley and winning is huge, especially for a program like that and kind of what that program has been for 15 years. But like Bud Elliott, I think, was the one that nailed it.
Yep.
And if you've got it pulled up, Mike, I'll let you do it justice better than I can.
I don't have it pulled up, but I saw it.
He basically said, he's like, anyone who's trying to make this about Syracuse, that all of a sudden Syracuse has pulled it together and turned into this great team. He's like, remember, this is the Syracuse team that got basically run out of the building by Tennessee in week 1, needed a comeback and overtime to beat UConn in week 2. And now all of a sudden they're going up against a blue chip ratio quality roster in Clemson and kind of running them out of the building. Are we thinking that Syracuse is amazing now, or that Clemson is having an effort and a quitting issue here?
Yeah.
It's clearly got to be the second one.
Yeah. Especially since my sickos pick of the week came home. Ball State lost to UConn by 6 today. So we like that a lot. We like it a lot. Back to this. Clemson. Yes. They feels a little quitty on offense, especially, doesn't it? I was in the car. I did see a decent chunk of this game. Had to pick one to stream, on your phone. You could do the whole quad box on an iPhone. It's hard. So I picked, you're using a microscope. And anyway,
like trying to watch it on the Game Boy Color or something.
Yeah, that's right. whip out the magnifying glass in your monocle. Anyway, this game had a weather delay. This game had Steve Angeli, I think, blowing out his Achilles for Syracuse, which is not great. Non-contact, didn't look good. So
they had the lead and everything. That sucks.
So he's probably cooked, but he's not as cooked as Clemson. So even if he needs surgery or whatever, he's not as cooked as Clemson. I don't know if Clemson's going to a bowl game, Joey. It seems like an outrageous statement.
Yeah.
This is really bad. Like, Dabo can couch this however he wants. He can go up to the podium and he can say, if you're tired of winning, you can get rid of me. If the fan base is pissed, the fan base, they're trying to hold Clemson to the standard that you set them to. Like, you made Clemson what it is right now. This is not something that, it's not like you took over a program that was perennially winning national championships. You brought them to that level, and now the fan base is pissed and they're wondering why they're not that program anymore, because they're not. Like, we can sit here and pretend, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody. I went into the preseason thinking this Clemson team was going to be different. They played much better at the second half of last year. Cade Klubnik looked like he figured something out, was finally comfortable with Garrett Riley's offense. The defense, was returning a bunch of NFL talent at all three levels. And Tom Allen, who turned Penn State's defense into an absolute wagon last year, was going to come in, and it was a clear upgrade at defensive coordinator. And this was going to make a lot of sense for everybody. Clemson looked like far and away the most talented team in the ACC. They looked like they had a coaching staff that Dabo hasn't had in quite some time in terms of support guys. His top two coordinators are, on paper, coming into the year, the best that they've been in years at Clemson, really since Venables left. Was feeling pretty good about Clemson coming into the year. They are not that program. They're bad. The offense is awful. They have a quarterback problem. They probably have an offensive coordinator problem. Tom Allen hire has flopped so far, insofar as the Clemson defense, which is on the field a ton, right? So I do want to note that they're on the field a bunch, but they have not lived up to the expectation that they were going to be this defense that was going to allow like 4 points per game. They're not that. And a lot of that is due to the offense putting them in bad spots, but the Clemson defense just has not played consistently enough either. They're having trouble getting home to the quarterback. They're having trouble making tackles in the open field. Just some fundamental stuff that should be locked up when your defensive coordinator is Tom Allen. So we're underperforming there as well. And this is a mess. I mean, this really is a mess. Woke Furby brings up a point that we've talked about, and something that I have been revisiting now as Clemson has looked worse and worse week over week. And I brought it up on the recap last week. Clemson beat up on the bottom half of the ACC last year. SMU was really their only good win.
And I want to add the follow-up here as well. Reminder, Louisville smoked them in Death Valley last year.
Yep. In a way that we don't see Clemson lose under Dabo at home. We don't see that.
And this was also kind of not how we have ever seen them lose at home under Dabo. I mean,
I'd argue this is never close. This is worse.
Yeah.
This is worse. Louisville was talented. Syracuse, nothing against Syracuse. I think they have a good team. Fran Brown's a good coach, but that Louisville team last year, and I know Syracuse had a good team last year too, but from a talent standpoint, Louisville is the more talented roster, right? Last year's Louisville is more talented than this year's Syracuse. Right. Yeah. So I don't mean any disrespect to Syracuse when I say that, but this is worse. Like, you're not supposed to be losing to teams like Syracuse, where you have such a stark talent advantage on paper, and have it not even be competitive. It wasn't even competitive today. And again, credit to Syracuse. Offense was great. Defense came out, played very well, but the defense, everybody's defense plays well against Clemson. And that's because Clemson's offense is bad. They're bad. They got some serious issues, man. We're going from a team that was supposed to be a shoo-in to make the ACC title game, a likely favorite in that title game coming into the year. The team that was far and away on paper, this is why games aren't played on paper, in the preseason, team that was supposed to win the ACC.
Yep.
They were significant favorites in the conference.
Yep.
Playoff, obviously. And you and I said, but before the year started, we said it with Tony. This was a Clemson team we thought would go to the playoff. A successful year for the ACC would be probably making the semifinal,
Yeah.
and Clemson was the team that we thought was going to be there.
Yep.
Now we're looking at Florida State and Miami. It's like, wait a minute, could the ACC get a couple teams in? This is life comes at you fast, and Clemson's got a Dabo Swinney problem.
Yeah.
Haven't mentioned that yet. They got a Dabo problem. Dabo's got to look in the mirror at some point and decide whether or not he wants to join the modern era of college football.
Yep.
And the portal stuff is going to be brought up a ton. His way worked when we weren't in NIL and revenue sharing. His way worked great, right? Culture. And
who is that one transfer he brought in? How many catches did he have today? I don't know. Maybe one, maybe none. Hard to say.
I think you should consider using the portal like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to guarantee that you're going to go back to being the Clemson that you were before. But I'll tell you what, we mentioned this too. It's not like you're unfamiliar with the guys that you're going to be bringing into your program. In fact, because you're Clemson, it's likely that you recruited a lot of these guys that hit the portal, right? It's likely that you recruited them, the types of players that you're going to want to bring into your program. It's not like you're totally unfamiliar and these guys are going to be foreign to you, like Dabo pretends that they're going to be when he uses the transfer portal. It's crazy. When the rest of the sport is using a method of roster building that you are just deciding not to because you don't feel like it, it's going to catch up with you.
Yep.
You're putting your team at a decided disadvantage for no reason. And I'm not saying that it's the end all and be all is the transfer portal, because it's not. But you can improve. You can plug and play guys on a roster with very few holes. Which, look, when we look at Clemson's roster, they tend not to have a ton of holes, right? On paper, they tend to be pretty loaded, right? It might be just a position here or there. You can plug that with the portal. Except one issue: Dabo doesn't use the portal. So he's gonna have to join modern college football, or Clemson's just gonna go back to being a 7-8-4, 7-5 program like they were before Dabo got there, got promoted.
Yeah,
when he was a position coach under Bowden. Like this is what they were. Dabo should be familiar with that. When he was an assistant, this is what they were, and that's what they're turning into again. And it's Dabo's fault because he's being a hardhead. He's being just totally hard-headed about this for no reason. It's dumb.
So I think for this purpose in this game, I kind of want to get away from the roster building philosophy. Like we've talked about that, and we agree on that, right? Like, you can talk about the roster thing and the transfer thing and all that, and like the clear thing that I always go back to is Nick Saban, when he was in that whole run with Alabama, there was a clear philosophy change that you saw from him as soon as they lost that semifinal Sugar Bowl game to Urban Meyer's Ohio State team. They saw that, you can kind of run this spread, high scoring kind of approach and win games and dominate in the trenches and all that still. And that's where he went and hired Lane Kiffin. And you kind of saw Saban phase 2 at Alabama. Like he reinvented himself and reinvented that program, and they won 4 more national titles or whatever it was. Like, the rest of the time he was there, I forget what it was, but that's the thing that we haven't really as much seen from Dabo is this. I guess really it would be like a phase 3. Like there was phase 1 up until he hired probably Brent Venables. And then phase 2 was the middle section with Deshaun and Trevor. And now we're waiting on phase 3 to start. And it never really has. Like, it's kind of been the stale, similar thing. And that's all fine. I want to kind of put that to the side. I want to talk about just this game, by the way. I want to give Syracuse some credit. Game plan wise, they got the ball. They go down. They score a touchdown on the opening drive. They line up to kick it off. Onside kick. Surprise situation. Get the ball again. Go down. They kick a field goal. Clemson goes down 9 plays, 75 yards, touchdown on their opening drive, basically after they're already down 10-0. Syracuse gets the ball back, 9 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. I thought that Syracuse had a really good game plan here, Mike. somewhat the surprise onside kick that got Clemson. But also, if you look at Clemson's defense, I mean, I feel like I felt last week watching them play against Georgia Tech, the clear weak point of this Clemson defense is the secondary. Mm-hmm. And Syracuse made a clear effort to attack Clemson's secondary, get them into one-on-one situations where they felt like their receivers could win one-on-one battles, and they were doing it. So I thought it was a good game plan from Syracuse, good execution from them. I also want to point out Syracuse scored 24 points in the first 21 minutes of this game and scored 10 points in the final 39 minutes of this game. Meaning they were up 24-7 with about 9 minutes and change left till halftime. And Clemson barely did anything from there on out. They scored 2 touchdowns the whole rest of the way. So, and what that tells me is that from a talent and a roster standpoint, Clemson finally got it under control for most of the rest of that game. But the offense was not able to actually cash in on, having a talent advantage. Yep. And some of that was Cade. Like a good amount of it was Cade. Cade looked terrible today.
Yeah.
And you look at the stat line, he threw 60 passes, which I'll come back to that in a second. He threw 60 passes, just off target, left and right. Again, looked very uncomfortable. And I don't know how to describe what I was seeing from him, but he just did not look like he knew where to go with the ball half the time that he was out there.
Yeah.
By the way, 60 passing attempts from Cade Klubnik. Clemson, Adam Randall had 16 carries for 130 yards. Run the ball.
Yeah.
What are you doing? There is definitely a healthy amount of this, I think, that falls on Garrett Riley's feet of like, you can't just get away from the run being down by 10 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Run the ball.
And there are not many game scripts from what we've seen out of Klubnik now with all of our data over 3 years. There's just not that many game scripts where he's throwing the ball 60 times and Clemson's winning the game.
He can't do it, Mike.
Yeah.
He's not that good of a passer.
He's not that. He's flat out just not that good.
He ain't Deshaun. He ain't Trevor.
He's not. Yeah. I mean, at times this year so far, he hasn't even looked like DJ. I mean, it's been bad. We were making jokes. I mean, we made some jokes about that, right? When obviously he replaced DJ and DJ hit the portal. Like we made jokes about, all right, this is it. And then Klubnik wasn't very good. And we're like, all right, like are we sure we're just not replacing DJ with DJ? And then Klubnik obviously played better towards the end of last year. We're like, okay, like he's rounding in the form.
Yeah.
He's been bad this year. He's been bad through 4 games. He has not been very good, man.
I think the last kind of thing that I think is worth talking about, one of the things that Will Qualkenbush mentioned on the preview for the season when I talked to him was when Cade showed up on campus at Clemson, his demeanor, basically the way that he acted, in practice and in media availability and like whatever all else was a little, I don't know, like aloof maybe, or like he was a little bit like goofy and like unserious and just like, I don't know, just the way that he held himself. He said that basically the team was kind of iffy on this guy as a leader. And coming into the year, he's like, oh, I've seen him grow up. He's matured and he's, kind of taken on more of a leadership role. And of course that was 3 years ago or more that, right, when he first showed up. I feel like I've heard rumblings. I've heard questions. Does this team really want to fight for Cade Klubnik? Because I'm not sure I get the impression that they do, Mike.
Well, just speaking of unserious things, did you see Klubnik's post-game press conference by chance?
I did not. Please enlighten me because I can only imagine.
After Clemson put up a pretty pitiful performance offensively. I think you and I can agree.
Mm-hmm.
Klubnik said that when the offense started going tempo, it seemed like Syracuse's guys started hitting the deck and started having some injury issues. And then he goes on to say, but you'll have to ask them about that and see if they'll tell you the truth or not. That was what he said immediately following their third loss in 4 games to open up the season as ACC favorites.
Cade. Come on. No.
Yeah. I'll find you the clip.
That's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. I mean, goodness gracious.
You're the leader of an offense that has looked utterly pitiful through the first month of the season. And I think Devin Hamilton put it best right here, Joey. We can bring up his comment real quick.
Yeah.
No accountability.
None.
No accountability from the 2 leaders of your team, by the way. No accountability from your head coach, and there's no accountability from your quarterback. When reporters have questions about Clemson's program and how they're slipping, and they're fair questions to ask of Dabo, he goes on a rant saying, well, if y'all are tired of winning, you can get rid of me. No, quite the opposite. They're tired of losing. They're tired of losing, Dabo.
Well, and I don't know how much of the body language from Dabo that you saw on the sideline today. Like,
he was crying when the clock hit 0. It's done, man. It's done in Death Valley this year, buddy. It's done.
Yeah.
I don't buy the stuff of Dabo stepping down and Dabo's quitting and he's gonna get fired and all that. Like, let's all be serious for a moment. Like, let's all relax. Remember who the coach is and why the fans are so mad. The fans are so mad because he set the standard there. It's gonna take a lot worse than this for him to get fired. With that said, he's not getting fired, guys. Okay. No. He might step down. He is not getting fired in 2025. Let's all be adults. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to hear, there's going to be some rants made on other podcasts or people on the internet, they'll be posted videos. Oh, Dabo fired. Dabo. Let's all be adults. Okay. Yeah. He's not getting fired.
No.
But he needs to look in the mirror and decide what he wants his program to be, like the next iteration of Clemson football, because we're growing further and further away from the last time they were competitive for a national championship.
Mm-hmm. Was it the 2019 LSU team that they lost to was the last time they played for the national title? I think it was probably the last time they were anywhere near that close.
Mm-hmm. 20 wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I know they were in the playoff, but 20 wasn't that good. It's been a mess since then, as we know.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's all relative. They went to the playoff last year. They won the ACC, but it's like you won a weak ACC last year. And you kind of luck boxed your way into that win against SMU in the title game. And kind of got boat raced in the playoff. So,
the thing that I mentioned to my dad and my brother-in-law this afternoon was that, if you go look at Dabo's track record at Clemson over the last 12 years, and what you see is top 10 finish, top 10 finish, top 10 finish, top 10 finish. They're ranked every year. They're winning 9+ games every year. They've won multiple national titles. They've played for multiple others, all this stuff. If you think that you can fire him and find someone to do better, good luck. Okay. But, I think that's a tough proposition personally. So
listen, man, I can criticize Dabo up and down, but if Clemson actually wants to get rid of Dabo Swinney, my alma mater currently has a coaching opening. Dabo, come on down, baby.
Yeah.
Get ready to learn $191 million in athletic department funding, buddy, and let's get this thing going.
Get ready to learn lunch boxes, Dabo.
Ready to learn lunch boxes. The ones that are brown with the VT on the side.
That's right.
Lunch pails even.
Last thing on this game, because I feel like we can't really get away without talking about Syracuse just a little bit more.
Yes. Yep.
Number one, huge credit to them. We came into this season saying that there are 6 road games that they're going to be double-digit underdogs for, probably. They found a way to win one of them, Mike. And by doing that, decent shot that they're going to a bowl game at least.
Yes.
However, we are now staring down the final, 8-9 games of Syracuse's season where they may well be without Steve Angeli.
Likely without him. I mean, that he could put no weight on his leg. That looked like Achilles through and through.
Yeah, non-contact. Like it was such a. I mean, you hate that. Like you kind of know roughly what that is, not specifically, but like.
And he's been good for them too. Like he's been really good over the first month. So it's a bummer.
So at this point, you're kind of leaning on Ricky Collins, who, again, from talking in the preseason, I mean, high ceiling, low floor kind of guy. I mean, you could easily see him upsetting somebody else down the line. I mean, it's entirely possible. You could also see him losing a game they have no business losing. So, going to be interesting to see kind of what Syracuse finishes out this season with. But, hey, credit to them, credit to that coaching staff for getting a win here in a game away from the Carrier Dome. I'm still calling it the Carrier Dome. Getting a win away from the Carrier Dome in a game where they were a double-digit dog and certainly giving themselves a good shot at bowl eligibility at worst as they go up against what seemed like, at least going into the season, a bit of a murderer's row schedule. So they host Duke next weekend. Probably a small underdog in that game, probably not double digits, if I had to guess.
And they get it at home, which is good.
That's right.
And listen, man, I know we're kind of early in the tenure with Fran Brown still, but and regardless of what you think of him, right? If you think his teams are good or bad or whatever, the one thing that you can guarantee is that his players are going to play hard for him.
Yeah.
They play their asses off for Fran Brown. And don't underestimate the importance of that, because we're seeing a lot of teams quitting early in the year. We're seeing a lot of quit across college football, and they play their asses off for Fran Brown. So I hate to do the thing where, because I've already seen it. Lee Nobody just mentioned it in the chat. I've seen it all over social media. Fran Brown's going to leave Syracuse for a bigger job. I hate doing that. Because I don't want to, as part of the conversation tonight, be, Syracuse, they looked like a decent program over the last 15 or 16 games because Fran Brown's their head coach. He's going to leave for somewhere else now that they got another big win. I hate doing that tonight, even if I might agree with it. I hate doing that right now, so we're not going to. But I don't disagree with the comment. I hate doing that on the heels of huge win. He's probably going to leave for somewhere else anyway. And I do think he likes being at Syracuse as well. Devin, I saw that comment.
It's basically the same conversation as, Steve Angeli had a good game. I wonder who he's going to be playing for next year. I
don't like seeing the sport through that lens.
I hate that conversation. So, anyways, Syracuse 34, Clemson 21 in a stunner, kind of on multiple levels, and a couple teams we got to keep an eye on, of kind of which direction they go from here.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time there, but we had to. Let's talk about the second most important. There are a lot of blowouts here that will speed up the second half of this podcast. But there were a few games of consequence. Yep, we're going to hit on those. Miami 26, Florida 7. And Joey, really impressed with Miami's defense here.
Defense, yes.
The offense did not look great tonight. There was the Beck interception in the second half there where, I said I had to text you about the game flipping, but I didn't think that was even that. And you mentioned this too. I didn't think that was even that bad of a decision or throw by Beck. Just an unbelievable
I texted
play.
It to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad throw by Beck. It was a brilliant play by the defensive back, honestly.
Yeah. They left some plays out there in the passing game, I thought. It was not Beck's now with that said, right, about good throw by Beck.
That one play.
On that one play. Not his sharpest game. In fact, probably his worst game in a Miami uniform, I would say, so far. Now, 4 games in. They're 4-0. It's a great win tonight. I don't want to sit here and shit all over Carson Beck, who I think has been very good for them so far this year. Was not his best game. The passing game as a whole struggled. Now, Florida's got a good defense, so you want to, give Florida some credit. I know Napier's hot seat is very warm at this point, but they have a good defense. They seem to still be playing hard for Napier. Miami's defense looked very good. I understand that Lagway cannot, he's setting the forward pass back again after looking like he figured it out at the end of last year. He's like Cade Klubnik of the SEC. He can't, they can't move the ball downfield in the passing game, and they're
12 of 23 for 183 feet.
Yeah. Was that the metric system? Is that?
I don't know. That was DJ Lagway's stat, by the way.
Yeah. 61 whole yards he threw. Yeah, they tried to lean on the run. They couldn't. Miami's defense shut that down. Miami's got a very good defense, very good front. They got after Lagway. They stuffed the Miami run, or the Florida running game. Miami, it did feel like they thought they saw something in the running. It's the cheek system. Alexis Solaris, thank you very much. Not the metric system. It's the cheek system.
I got a new sound effect for that, by the way.
I don't. Oh, okay. Didn't know. Wasn't sure where you pulled that from. I was like, that could be. I know we're a late night podcast on Saturdays, but I don't know that we can play that on the air, depending on where you pulled that sound from. What kind of cheeks we got in here? Miami ran the ball really well. They at least committed to it. To it.
Yep.
They found something. They felt like they could keep the ball on the ground. They were afraid of the vaunted DJ Lagway passing game. Like, we got to keep it out of that guy's hands. We're going to run the... No, just kidding. But they ran the piss out of it. Mark Fletcher didn't have a ton of success. 24 for 116 and a touchdown, isn't the most efficient Mark Fletcher game that we've ever seen, but it was good enough tonight. Jamar Brown had 2 touchdowns. He spelled Fletcher. The two of them ran it, do the math, 42 times.
Yep.
42 times for 196 and 3 touchdowns. So they just committed to it, and
that'll do.
Yeah,
Cal.
Oh, it's coming all the way back too. So this is going to be 19-0 San Diego State. There are no flags.
Goodness gracious, the Calgorithm is in shambles right now.
Not the best JKS game, huh?
That is not a good San Diego State team either. My goodness. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
This is not good for Cal. After a 3-0 start, you're now down 3 scores in the third. The offense
was a fumble. Sorry, not a pick.
The offense looks like ass tonight.
I just looked down and saw San Diego State going the other way with the ball. I assumed a pick, but
I assumed a pick as well. I just looked over when you were like, "Oh no, Cal," and I was like, "Oh wow, that's a lot of black shirts going the other direction."
Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Oh no. I got nothing else really. The game was pretty. It was pretty straightforward in that I never really thought Florida had a. It was. I don't want to say that I didn't think they ever had a chance. Florida scored. It made it 13-7. And then Beck threw the pick. So I'm like, okay, now Florida's got the ball at midfield. But then they didn't do anything with that. So it's like, all right. They just don't. Florida didn't have anything on offense. And you got to give credit to Miami's defense. That's been unbelievably good this year. And their defense is what's going to carry them as far as they want to go this year. Right. And I think you're going to have to see something a little bit better out of the passing game from Beck, but I'm just going to chalk this up to, okay, they played a very good defense in Florida, and sometimes you just have to grind these games out. But I come away impressed by Miami. I do. I come away very impressed by the defense, and they did enough offensively, and it wasn't the prettiest night, but it got the job done. And
yes. So Miami's defense, very impressive here. And this is a Florida offense that has had its struggles, obviously. I mean, they had their issues. DJ Lagway throws 5 picks last week against LSU. This is an offense that is a work in progress, to put it nicely. Florida, by my math, and I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure my math says that Florida had 1 first down before halftime. Like, that's it.
Less than 100 yards of offense as well. I think they had like 98 yards of offense in the first half.
They had 141 yards of offense in the whole game.
Yeah.
They had 7 first downs. They were 0 for 13 on third down. They couldn't move the ball basically at all. So, and there's, again, they're somewhat challenged, but like there's talent there. There's skill guys. DJ Lagway is supposed to be a potential Heisman guy, which LOL at this point.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that this year, I would say.
Yeah.
I think we're good on that.
I don't think they're even giving odds on that. That's immoral to offer tickets on that right now. But like Miami's defense absolutely shut them down in a way that you don't often see from defenses against a power conference offense, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is a talented group that Miami's defense gave nothing to basically the whole night. So really impressed by Miami's defense here in this spot, just full stop.
Yeah.
Miami's offense is where I don't really know what to think or what to feel here, because so as mentioned in the rapid recap, this was a 13-7 game when Florida punted with about 11 minutes left in the game. So if you're seeing 26-7, like, oh, it's a blowout, it really wasn't. Like, Miami's offense was not great here. And this is where I don't think I did a great job of explaining kind of where my thought process was on the preview, but like I texted you a little bit ago, Mike, like this is a really weird set of games to try to use to figure out like what Miami is or is not. And I'll say it specifically on offense. So we saw them score 27 points there on Sunday of Labor Day weekend against Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing, oh, that's Notre Dame. They just played for the national title. Their defense was awesome. Like all this stuff. Mike, how are we feeling about Notre Dame's defense here in late September?
I'll tell you what, they hung almost 60 on Purdue tonight, and I did not feel great about the defense coming out of that one.
Yeah. Purdue, I think, scored 30, where they had just scored 31 on Miami of Ohio and 34 on like an FCS, I think Illinois State or something like that. So, okay. All right. So that's, not awesome. You scored 27 on that Notre Dame defense.
Chris Ash is Marcus Freeman's Brian Van Gorder.
Ooh. Oh, I like that.
Just to bring it all together for the podcast community here.
That's right. Miami then put up 45 points on Bethune-Cookman, which mostly not a data point, but that's not anywhere close to the high watermark of scoring against Bethune-Cookman in recent years of Miami games specifically. And then you played against a South Florida team that was coming off of a big emotional game. You don't know if they need this one or not. And there's just never a chance that South Florida was going to be able to hang in the trenches relative to this Miami team. So then you go into this Florida game and you score 13 points through 3 quarters and change. And like everything looked really, really good and really, really impressive through, 3.5 games basically. But like, I don't know the point that I'm trying to make here necessarily, but like
you're not 100% sold on Miami's offense, I think is what you're saying.
For the number 4 team in the country and like that good of a team, I'm not sold that they're that yet. I was really impressed by the Notre Dame game, but the value that I got out of that has kind of degraded since then. And I'm starting to have questions. I feel like we're going to learn a lot in Miami's next 2 games. They get a bye week, and then they're in Tallahassee, and then they get Louisville at home. What are you going to do against those 2 defenses? If you can win those games, I'm sold. I'm good.
Yep. Fair enough.
So it's kind of where I'm at. Weird place with Miami right now for me. Obviously, very good, very impressive on defense. Let's see what the offense is. As mentioned, again, the one pick that Carson Beck threw, it is unusual that I look at a quarterback that I kind of personally have it out for and watch him throw a pick, and I'm like, that's not on him. And it's not on the receiver. Like the defense just made a ridiculous play on that. That was Cormani McLean, by the way, who was like a former 5-star recruit who has all sorts of off the field issues. Yeah. So, but anyways, so good outing from Miami tonight. I think the most importantly, the under came into play here, but yeah, really, really good defensive effort again from Miami in particular.
I think the thing that you and I could probably agree on, they're at least very good. Now, how far is the what's the ceiling? We're gonna see.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of what we're still trying to figure out. They're really good though.
Are they top 5 good? I have my questions. Are they top 15 to 20 good? I have no questions.
No questions.
Just keep them focused and don't make dumb game management decisions, Mario. And we're good there.
Yeah.
Miami 26, Florida 7.
Okay. There are really just 2 more games I care to talk about. Like in
that weren't total blowouts.
Yeah. TCU 35, SMU 24.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So timestamp 56:22. Okay. Good podcasting. Scott will thank me for this later.
Kevin Jennings got a little bit, I'll say banged up, nicked up, but like it might have been another non-contact joint, like lower body kind of thing for him.
He's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt.
He played the whole game, but he's not 100% for sure.
My bigger concern here is that SMU's defense was above average last year. And I think the question was, is it because of caliber opponent or is it because they're actually like an above average defense? I think what we found out, it was a little bit of both, but they lost some guys on that side of the ball. And this year has not been it defensively. TCU was 9 of 17. Thank you, Joey.
Sorry.
9 of 17 on third down. They gave up 3 fourth down conversions. They gave up 517 yards of offense. TCU scored 35 points here. Yeah, man. Josh Hoover threw 5 touchdown passes. This is the defense is a problem for SMU.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue. It hasn't been pretty, right? Their other loss this year was, of course, that barn burner to Baylor, in overtimes plural, and that was 48-45.
Yeah,
they gave up a ton of points there as well. I think TCU is very good. I do. I think they're a very good team. I think they have a legitimate chance to win the Big 12, as I mentioned earlier.
They should be ranked in the polls
they'll be
tomorrow
ranked.
Afternoon.
Yeah, they'll be ranked. If you're listening this Sunday, they're already ranked. Like they'll be in the poll. Yeah. The thing I like about SMU's schedule here is that it sets up pretty well still.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think that coming into the year, but you still got a Syracuse game that's going to be tricky coming up. You got Stanford. You're going to be favored there. You're going to Clemson. You'll be favored there. At Wake, you're going to be the favorite there. Miami, you'll be a dog. At BC, home against Louisville, more of a toss-up. At Cal, you're going to be favored in most of these games. Okay? So you still have a chance to put together a pretty good year and even be the type of team that can make a run to Charlotte with this schedule, depending on how the cards fall. But I'm concerned about this defense. I think the offense is not quite as consistent as it was last year in terms of explosiveness. They did rely a lot on explosive plays last year, which, is not going to be something that you're going to retain year over year when you have turnover. So I have some concerns about SMU. I still think they're good. I feel like they're still like 8-4 good though. I don't feel like they're like what they were last year. Feel like we've taken a step back a little bit, but I don't think they're not a bad team. They're an upper quartile team in the ACC still with how it's shaken out so far. I mean, I can't name. I mean, can you name 5 teams better? 4 teams better?
Probably, yeah.
Georgia Tech, Florida State, Miami. Who else? Louisville, maybe.
I guess you play Cal the last week of the season. We'll find out. But
Cal.
I'm just saying
we're down 3 school. We're getting blanked by San Diego State tonight, Joey.
I get it.
We're
Cal
getting
also
blanked by San Diego State.
Yeah, I mean Cal has a win in ACC play already, and I don't know, like what I've seen from SMU so far. Again, like moving the ball, missing a little bit of magic from last year. Defense not there. Like this feels like a 7-5 SMU team. Like, and I guess okay, maybe they are like the 5th best team in the ACC. Like I will entertain that discussion. But the problem again is Louisville. You got to play them. You got to go to Clemson, which we're making assumptions now, but at any given moment, Clemson could decide that they do want to play. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like this idea that SMU could go back to Charlotte this year. I'm not buying it based on what we've seen from the first 4 games.
No. I don't think so either. I think they're probably going to need help. But
this is 4-4, 5-3 in the ACC to me. Like, and at that point, I don't think it's even about getting help. Like, I don't think that this is. They would have to go on a magic carpet ride of these ACC games.
No way
to get to 7-1 and win the conference. Go to the conference championship game. Like,
I don't see 7-1 either. But could they go 6-2 with what's left?
I don't think so. Not this SMU team that we've seen so far. I think Miami goes in there in November and beats them. I don't trust this team to go to Boston College and definitely win that game. I don't trust them to
Red Bandana
Louisville
game
at home.
Red Bandana, that BC game too, right?
Yep. They got to go into Clemson and win that game. They got Syracuse coming to town here in a couple weeks. Tell me Syracuse can't beat this SMU team?
Syracuse been looking good, better than SMU probably.
Like, look, I'm up for hating on SMU with the best of them, but like, I just objected, like the way that they've lost a couple of these games, the way they looked against Missouri State last week. I am not high on kind of the way the rest of this is all going to play out for SMU, and especially if Kevin Jennings is a little bit beat up.
Yeah.
Like, then what? Like, so I'm not excited about how the rest of this plays out for the Ponies personally.
We shall see.
We shall.
Worse than last year. Definitely worse than last year.
Definitely worse than last year. I'll give you that. I don't think I have a ton else here. SMU had a bad time running the ball today.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple of chunk plays here and there, but again, on balance, less than 4 yards a carry. Especially when Kevin Jennings is a little bit hobbled and not able to help in the run game, that's not a great sign for what that's worth.
I would agree, especially with what they're getting / not getting out of their running game.
Yep.
With their backs. So
that's right. TCU 35, SMU 24. TCU takes the iron skillet and will hold on to it for probably 6 or 7 years or whatever it is until they play again.
It'll be a while.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, NC State.
Duke 45, NC State 33. Hey, Duke.
All right, so I took NC State on the money line. I bet it.
I did as well on podcast picks.
Yeah. Now, some of that was Duke's been, at some point, you are what you are. Like, somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? And Duke is kind of pissed away their last 2 games prior to today. So that was part of it. They had just
penalties, turnovers.
Yeah, like really dumb stuff against Illinois, really dumb stuff against Tulane last week. So I was like, all right, maybe Duke is just not going to be disciplined this year, and they're just going to screw around. And buddy, I didn't take into account the fact that NC State has played 0 defense this year, man. I am concerned. Speaking of defenses I'm concerned about, NC State. Worried about the defense. Seems to be a kind of a new thing with NC State. One week I'm worried that they're not running the ball well enough. Today they ran it well enough and didn't play any defense. It's been kind of a catch-22 with this team so far this year. But not great defensively. I will say that I thought that this was the best game that Duke has played against like actual competition, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
Offense looked really good.
It helps Duke that they're +4 in turnovers.
Yeah, and they took care of the ball and they weren't penalized a bunch. So that helps, right? You played a pretty it's a pretty clean game. Now, I will say Duke did have a couple 15-yard penalties that ended up muddying things up. It ended up being 8 for 103 somehow in the fourth quarter because things were getting a little chippy.
Wee bit, yeah.
A wee bit chippy. But yeah, I mean, you get what you get. CJ Bailey throws 3 picks and you fumble. This is what happens. So in a game where neither team felt like they could really get a stop. Was not overly impressed with Duke's defense today, for what it's worth. NC State had what they end up with. It was over 500 yards of offense.
535.
Yeah. NC State 7-12 on third down. So, yeah, I think NC State kind of did this to themselves. And then defensively, it wasn't great again. So,
yeah.
By the way, touchdown San Diego State.
Goodness gracious.
That is is that pick 6?
We got ourselves a 4-score shutout situation.
It's now 26-0.
As I was saying, I'm pretty sure Cal is one of the 4 best teams in the ACC right now. So
we can still shit on SMU, but let's not talk about the Cal game in the finale yet. Holy shit. This is bad.
What is happening in San Diego right now? My goodness.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Cal, a 13-point favorite in this game, down 27.
San Diego State has 2 defensive touchdowns.
This would be a legendary cover if Cal were to somehow come up with a +41 margin in the next 20 minutes of game time, basically. Anyways, yeah.
They'll be writing books about it. Darian Mensah was really good, by the way. Back to this Duke game, Darian Mensah was good.
He was, and part of him being good is that they didn't ask him to throw it 50 times.
Right.
They asked him to throw it 28 times, which is way more reasonable for what you expect from him and kind of the game that he plays. 19 to 28 for 269 and 3 scores, no picks. So A, not overworked. B, no turnovers. That's exactly what you want from Darian Mensah and the way this game went. CJ Bailey with just a peak stat line here, by the way. 29 to 39, 364, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. That feels about right to me. Mike is a guy that is a pretty high variance kind of player who he's going to make some crazy throws. He has some really good moments and he has some really terrible moments mixed in there as well.
Yeah.
Again, Duke with over 100 yards of penalties in this game, which that's probably the biggest thing that kind of kept this close for a while. But again, ultimately, NC State throws CJ Bailey throws an interception with about a minute and a half left that makes it +4 for Duke in turnovers, and that's how you lose a game by 12 points. So, this is what Duke looks like when they clean it up a little bit. Again, they had all the penalties, but they didn't have the turnovers basically that they've seen the last couple of weeks. Concerning for NC State, I don't know what the Wolfpack is, man. If I'm being honest, like they get down big to Wake Forest, and then they go on a hot streak, and they win that game, and then they're messing around against Duke. They pulled off a win against Virginia where they were like good for 30 to 35 minutes of that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Like, this team is just wildly inconsistent, it feels like. And like their good is really good and their bad is really bad. And it's a question of how much are you going to get against a given opponent on a given week. We'll see how it goes when they host the Hokies next week.
I was going to say, what do you think the line is going to be there, Joey? I bet it'll be shorter than we think.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue.
NC State should be fine there. But, don't let Duke beat you twice.
Yeah. I got nothing else here. Anything else, Mike?
Is there a chance? Can you bring up the cheek sound for me again?
I can. You ready now?
Ready. Is there a chance that NC State is actually bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't want to disrespect Virginia by saying that, but like,
oh baby, we'll go there.
Mike will. Yeah, I don't. I'm not going to go full cheeks on NC State.
They're on the watch list. They're on Cheeks watch.
Yeah,
it's not quite a warning. Maybe Cheeks advisory even.
The crazy thing is, like, if they could be more consistent through some of these games, they could be easily a top half of the ACC kind of team. With the caveat that, as I said to you before, please, for the love of God, do not let me pick an NC State under for the rest of the season. Because that defense is a sieve, Mike. They just, it's yards and points left and right to just almost anybody, it feels like at times. So, but the offense, they do move the ball. And again, CJ Bailey looks quite good at times. So, I don't know.
Hey man, clip this.
Searching for it.
Clip this, because I think there's a chance that this could come back to bite me in the ass. I think the Hokies can score on NC State next week.
Oh no!
So let's just keep an eye on that. We can clip that, Scott. 1 hour and 13 minutes in, we can clip it. We can clip it.
Goodness gracious. We'll see about that.
All it took was me seeing Kyron Drones have a good game against Wofford to get me back on the wagon of Virginia Tech having a chance against NC State next Saturday night.
Yep. We'll see.
Ready to be heard again.
Duke 45, NC State 33.
Virginia 48. Yeah, I mean, we can. The only two and we don't even have to talk about very long. The only two I care about talking about, like, with any length of time: Virginia 48, Stanford 20. Virginia can score on anybody.
Yeah, seems that way.
Virginia is just going to score just a shit ton of points this year.
Yeah,
they're going to score a lot of points.
Dude.
They're good. Offense is good.
Chandler Morris quite good. He had a good day here. Keep an eye out for Ben Gulbranson.
No.
I mean, maybe though. No. Like just a little bit.
Only in a losing effort when you're down multiple scores and the game's already over. That's when he does his best work.
Maybe a little bit. 20-29 for 286 and 2 touchdowns. Like that's.
Oh man.
Who's Virginia's defensive coordinator, by the way? The people are asking.
Hey, hey, he does his best work. He does his best work when he's down 1 million points. Call him Kyron Drones. Yeah.
Yeah. Hero ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
This really wasn't
the white Kyron Drones.
This really wasn't close. Virginia scores and they're up 28-7 with about 9 minutes until halftime.
Yeah.
So really, really good start for Virginia here. Touchdowns on their first 4 drives of the game. And then they got in pretty close on their 5th drive and missed a field goal. So they basically put this one away. I mean, it was 28-14 at a half. It was, the scoreboard says it was a little bit close, but again, the Who's got out to a really good lead here and just kind of sat on Stanford for all intents and purposes, basically. Nearly 600 yards of offense. You can't ask for a whole lot more from the Who's.
After 700 last week and setting a school record, they've got 1,300 yards of offense last 2 weeks.
That'll do.
Yeah. I mean, this was a boat race.
Mm-hmm.
This is a boat race. Virginia has a very favorable schedule, remember? So something to monitor. I mean, I think with the way Florida State and Miami look, obviously there's one guaranteed loss in there between the two of them because they play each other in 2 weeks. But I think you're probably going to have to go at minimum 6-2 to make it to Charlotte this year with the way those teams look.
There are a couple of these teams, Mike, with schedules that tell me that I don't think that anyone's making it to Charlotte with less than a 7-1 record. Like quality-wise with Miami and Florida State, the problem for them is that they play each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a couple of these teams that are decent enough that don't play anyone else in the top 4 of the ACC. Like, this is the dumb part of this 17-team conference.
Yeah.
2 teams make the playoff, but you only play 8 games. Like, nonsense is if you go 7-1 and you don't play half the decent teams in the conference, well, you're going to Charlotte, baby. Congrats. Like,
I'm with you. I think 6-2 gets you in the discussion. I think 7-1 this year. I don't think we're going to have a redo of Clemson SMU where Clemson backdoors their way in this year. That would be, I mean, there's a lot of football left to be played. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to have to put together something pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, Virginia's got Florida State on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to spoil the preview. How are we feeling about that? Do we think the Who's have a chance? I do not. I don't think their defense is good enough.
I'm going to say a chance. I'm going to say it's like a 5 to 10% chance.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
It's not a good chance because Florida State might be an absolute buzzsaw at this point. It's entirely possible.
I agree.
Get to them in a minute.
Yeah, I agree.
Total for that game is probably 105, if I had to guess.
Yeah, a lot of points.
Yeah. But if Virginia were to find a way to win that game on Friday night,
inside track to Charlotte,
it's a road trip to Louisville,
and
then a week 13, 14 road trip to Duke, and that's all you're really kind of worried about, if I had to guess.
Oh, not the school that they can never beat with an interim coach?
Well,
by the way, they lost to the last interim coach.
If I'm being honest, I'm just like looking at the logos down the schedule, and I'm not looking at the logo at the top of the schedule. That is who the team is that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that interim coach or the other team's record or any of that matters in that game. I think the fact is that you're Virginia and they're Virginia Tech, and you can barely win that game to save your life. So
correct. It becomes a point being, if you beat Florida State, it becomes like a 2-game season after that.
A little bit. Yeah. We'll see there.
Yeah.
Good showing for Virginia.
They're good. They're a good team.
Stanford figuring it out a little bit on offense.
Yeah, they're bad, but they're not like as bad as I thought they were going to be now.
Yeah.
Like they're putting together like a living, breathing football team now. I wasn't sure that was going to be the case after what we saw early on.
Yeah, they're not just complete and total dumpster fire on offense the way that they looked against Hawaii and week 2 against whoever that was. I don't know. Has Stanford played 5 games already? No, 4 games. Sorry.
They played 4. They had a bye 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Yeah, those week 0 games really throw you off. So
they do.
Anyways. All right. Virginia 48, Stanford 20. I don't have anything else here, Mike.
No, we're good. We're going to kind of start the Temple run here. UCF 34, UNC 9.
Dog.
So I don't have a ton here other than like stuff I've already said, which is I think that Carolina's roster is not very good, obviously. But if you want a chance to like win some games against what appears to be a pretty favorable schedule, I would suggest that you maybe, if you're going to continue running this offense that you're running, maybe just put Max Johnson out there. You're having trouble running the ball anyway. Max Johnson, he is more of a pro-style quarterback, which is the offense you are running. Gio Lopez, his confidence is shot because it's a square peg, round hole fit with the offense. And the defense is not great, but
it is not.
You're putting it in a much like Clemson in a much different discussion, obviously. You are making your defense play a lot of downs of football because your offense cannot get out of its own way.
Right.
The concern I would have if I was a Carolina fan is that this is year 1 of UCF. They were supposed to be really bad. I don't think they're as bad as everybody thought they were going to be, but at the same time, you got boat raced here as a 7-point dog. So I think you got to consider quarterback change. I know you probably paid Gio Lopez way more than he was worth, and you don't want to renege on a bad investment, but I really think you should consider starting Max Johnson.
Yeah. You had one decent, I'll call it 2 decent drives in this game. You had the third quarter, 19-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. I'll give you that. That works. It's right around the time you switched to Max Johnson. Sorry, it was in the middle of that drive that you switched to Max Johnson.
Right.
You had the one drive in the second quarter, 10 plays, 63 yards. That ended in an interception. Other than that, absolutely futile effort here from North Carolina. To your point, Mike, if we're going to do this whole thing of, we're the 33rd team in the NFL, which first of all, okay. Yeah. Second of all, maybe the approach here is kind of more of a quote unquote NFL offense. That's what Max Johnson is here to do.
Right.
Right. Like he is more of a quote unquote traditional NFL style quarterback. He's a little less mobile, a little bit better of a thrower of the ball than Gio Lopez. Gio Lopez is more of a mobile, best athlete on the team kind of quarterback that can throw it, but can also just escape some stuff. And like, you're not using him that way.
Right.
So at that point, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me what North Carolina is trying to do, and it's not working at all. And at some point, I'd like to think that the quote-unquote best coach in NFL history with 7 Super Bowl rings could friggin' figure out, maybe change your quarterback or like, this isn't working, but like, I don't know, man. Like, this is a tough scene right now for North Carolina.
It's a bad roster.
It is.
And they're not particularly well coached. They haven't been particularly well coached so far either, I would say.
No. Yeah. Not at all.
So, it's going to be an uphill battle to make a bowl game.
Again, you can look at this UCF team and say, hey, they're 3-0. Mike, they beat Jacksonville State by a 7-point margin in week 1. They played NC A&T, and now they have beaten this low-key probably garbage North Carolina team by a healthy margin. So see what they are in Big 12 play. But like, this is I guess maybe the line moved from 6.5 to 7.5 before we actually previewed this game. But like, you were supposed to be within a touchdown of this team, and you got blown out of the water basically here. So not a good scene for the Tar Heels.
Uphill battle to play postseason ball, I would say.
Yeah, to say the least. UCF 34, UNC 9.
Louisville
40, Bowling Green 17. As mentioned by my dad earlier, backdoor cover for Bowling Green.
Never in doubt.
Which part was in doubt? Because Louisville just dominated this game. Bowling Green kicks a field goal on their opening drive of this game. They go up 3-0. Later, it was 33-3 Louisville, and then Bowling Green scores a couple of touchdowns late in this game to make it look a little bit more competitive than it realistically was. But pretty dominant, easy effort here for Louisville, if I'm being honest.
Miller Moss's best game so far. So
look good.
Encouraging signs.
Maybe figured some things out in the bye week. Maybe.
Travel to Pitt next Saturday. So that's a nooner. That's a nooner, by the way. I might be all over Pitt there. Just given the time slot. And that's we'll take a look at what that line is.
How many points do you need with Pitt to be all over the Panthers there?
If it's Louisville, anything Louisville outside of like 7.
I could see Louisville minus 4.5 or something when that number comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And at that point,
I'd be less interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the big takeaway here is if you've started to figure something out with Miller Moss, that's the real win here for Louisville, because he has not looked comfortable. He has not looked good those first couple games that Louisville played.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can kind of get him into rhythm and feeling like he's comfortable within the offense, that's the big goal here. And certainly, again, he looked good today. So we'll see when they play against a little bit of a better defense here in a week.
Yep.
So
that's it.
All right. Louisville 40, Bowling Green 17. Apologies to Pudge the Cat.
Could have gone better.
It's not a euphemism, by the way.
Check in. Play the cheek sound and not the one you've been playing. Georgia Tech, Temple.
Oh, sorry.
Wrong one. What do you get from the dark corners of the internet? Georgia Tech 45, Temple 24. Joey, backdoor cover, baby.
Backdoor cover, and then a front door cover, and then another backdoor cover. This game got way too exciting in the final 5 minutes, basically. So Georgia Tech looks really good in the first 20 or so minutes of this game. They score touchdowns in their first 3 drives. It took them 16 snaps to score 21 points, basically, and rack up, 200-ish yards. Everything's going well, feels good. Temple goes in, scores a touchdown, and then Georgia Tech 3 and out. And then Temple moves the ball a little bit, punts it. Georgia Tech 3 and out. It looked really good for 3 drives, and then it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. 2 plays fumble. And at that point, Temple has scored 2 touchdowns, and it is 21-14. Georgia Tech from there, touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, end of game. So
better.
They figured it out. But there was definitely this 20-minute segment in the middle of this game of okay, where did all that go? Because they kind of disappeared for a while on offense. This was fine, honestly. Again, I tweeted this out a little bit before we started. There was a tweet I saw, I guess, that came from Matt Thompson, a Georgia Tech fan, and I think it was in the middle of the third quarter that he tweeted something out about, oh, well, Georgia Tech always plays down to these opponents. They play up to the good ones, whatever. I was like, they led this game by 7 or more for 57 minutes of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they won by 3 scores. And like, what more do you want here? Like,
yeah.
I just want to reiterate when we talk about, oh, Georgia Tech, they could go to the playoff. They could go great. Like, I think it's really telling, Mike, that when we had that conversation and it's, oh, Georgia Tech could be a playoff team. It's not, the follow-up is not, their run game is just dominant and their defense is nasty and their quarterback is incredible. The follow-up is, have you seen that schedule?
Yeah.
Like they're a top 25 to 30 quality team that is a playoff contender because of who's not on the schedule and who they don't have to play against.
Yeah.
Which is fine and is where we're at in college football these days. And this is your turn, Georgia Tech fans. But I just wanted to call that out. Like, you can't just expect to beat Temple 60-0 because you've got the number 18 next to your team's number. Like it's not quite that yet.
I agree with everything you said because we're in lockstep with Georgia Tech. Now, for more pressing matters, Giovanni McCoy threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Xavier Irvin with 3 seconds to go.
Right.
It's not the first time in my life the final 3 seconds have been the most exciting.
Ding, 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 ding.
And that's how you backdoor cover.
Careful.
The spread. Talking the spread. Which one?
Of course, the betting. It's probably
Temple.
Not,
it's Temple. Like, what are we doing? It's Temple. Are Georgia Tech fans really upset? Is there a portion of the fan base upset about this?
I don't think so. And if you are, come on, like, have some realistic expectations. What I'm going to say is what's really interesting is that, yes, Giovanni McCoy throws a 4-yard touchdown pass with 3 seconds to go. Temple kicks off. There's a touchback. And then JP Powell runs 61 yards and almost scores again on the final play of the game.
Yeah.
Which I guess, I don't know if there was just a sense of like, screw this, whatever, like hand it off. And, I don't know if there was anything there from Brent Key, but yeah. Georgia Tech's defense, reasonably impressive, I think, on balance, but at times it was like, what are we doing here?
They give up some big plays. It's fine.
And while you were watching this game, I told my dad, I was like, I think this is also one of those where they're trying to be a little bit vanilla, see how far they can get without running anything interesting, without putting it on film. So
Temple's bad.
They're not that good. Yeah.
Okay. They're bad. Georgia Tech could run the 5-play script and win this game by multiple scores. It's fine.
Right. Exactly. So that's all I got. We're good. Moving on. Wake Forest next week. What could possibly go wrong?
It should be fine, right? Should be fine.
Should be. We'll see. Georgia Tech 45, Temple 24.
All right, speed run these last two. Hokies are on the board.
They are. They sure are. Where did it go? Hang on. There it is.
Kyron Drones is he's a fumbling machine. He fumbled again. I mean, that's kind of where all hell broke loose against Old Dominion. He fumbled, and then only bad things happened after that. He fumbled again on Saturday. He went 27 of 32 for 307 and 2 touchdowns. And I think at least 3, maybe 4 of his incompletions were drops. So pretty good.
That's pretty good.
He also had 2 touchdown runs. So
there you go.
A good Drones game. This was maybe his best game as a passer in a Virginia Tech uniform. It's just unfortunate it had to come against Wofford.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, it was good to see him have a good day today because he has not had a lot of good days lately.
No. That's it.
Aztecs on the move here?
Aztecs are on the move.
I'll say early fourth quarter, like a little bit more than 10 minutes ago. They're still up 27-0, by the way, and they've got the ball on the 25-yard line of Cal. So they are going in, trying to score again. Cal has still not scored in this game, Mike. What are we doing? Anyways.
It's not good.
It's not great. Not great. Sorry. Hokies 38, Wofford 6. Wofford now 0-4 for the record.
That's good. I'm glad the FBS team is the one that got on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
That's right.
Oh, Florida State. I saw a comment in the chat a few minutes ago saying Florida State's offense, I think it's from a Virginia fan. Wasn't sure if Florida State's offense is that good. I disagree. They are very good.
There is something about this Castellano. Sorry. You know what? I'll give him Tommy Castellanos situation for Florida State that is just working. And there's also an element, I think, of Florida State having a chip on their shoulder and Mike Norvell probably demanding that they prove something here that is playing itself out so far. So they have had absolutely no mercy their last two games against now Kent State and East Texas A&M. That is 143-13 in two games, I believe.
Offense is not any good.
Whose?
Florida State's. That's why I was told.
Yeah.
I know caliber competition thing, but you still got to score the points, guys. Yeah.
Speaking of scoring points, Aztecs just punched it in. It is 33-0. What is happening?
I'll count that on the timestamp as our final check-in of the night.
We're good. Cal
and San Diego State. I think it's safe to say that Cal is going to go to 3-1.
Yeah.
They're going to. Oh, that's a bad loss for Cal, man. Yeah, how things have been going. Nuke Jacket just pointed out Florida State ran for 498 yards today. It's not even like they were trying to run the score up, but they literally ran the score up by running. Yeah. This is a good recap. This could be our San Diego State recap. San Diego State, several. Cal, maybe none. We'll let you know.
Yeah. I don't think the actual meaningful result here is changing. So not great for the Bears tonight.
My You Died award is changing. Should we get to awards?
It's about that time, I think.
Crowdsourcing awards, drop them in.
That's right. We had a bunch earlier, which that's the problem with asking for suggestions at the beginning of an hour and a half show is now I got to scroll way back in the comments to try to find what they were. But that's partially, Mike, because the people have been so active and so been enjoying the show with us. So we appreciate that. Let's see. The Kobe Bryant Memorial, North Carolina running backs. That's an option. Go ACC Moment of the Week. Dabo's press conference.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's pretty funny because mine was going to be Cade Klubnik's press conference, but we can just do a two for there.
Yep. Will score Go ACC Moment of the Week. Georgia Tech conceding with 5 seconds left and then gaining 50 yards and almost scoring with the clock run out in the final play to almost take the cover back. Yeah, here we go.
Play a sound. There we go.
Yeah. A lot of options here. Where are we going? Go ACC Moment of the Week. Is it Dabo's press conference?
Yeah, Dabo and Cade. Yeah.
Dabo just tweeting through it in front of the media.
Yeah, Dabo basically saying we have to just be better. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us, sort of thing. Agree. Where was that energy on Tuesday or whatever when you said the whole thing about that were they tired of winning?
Man, some of his body language on the sidelines was different than what I've been seeing for years.
Yeah. Exasperation, even.
That's right. The Kobe Bryant Memorial.
Real quick. And the Cade Klubnik presser. Him talking about Syracuse players falling down when Clemson started going tempo. Buddy, I don't think they're afraid of your offense. I don't think they have any reason to be that concerned.
Yeah. That was... I said they had a good game plan. That I don't think that was part of it. Didn't have to be.
Yeah, I think this is the time where I could just unload on Cade Klubnik a little bit. We're just wasting all of the skill talent that Clemson has. The best receiver room they've probably had in 5 years. We're just wasting it because you can't get them the football. But yeah, let's blame the Syracuse defenders falling down or whatever.
Seems legit. Yeah. The Brian Van Gorder Memorial You Tried Award.
Oh.
NC State against an iffy Duke team and turn it over 4 times and losing that game in the second half.
I was going to say UNC trying to play offense.
That's definitely a good candidate as well.
Thank you.
SMU trying to play defense.
Oh, that's a swell candidate as well.
Yeah. And Dennis, Kent State's rushing defense, giving up almost 500 yards on the ground to the Seminoles. Lots of good candidates this week. The Bobby Petrino Memorial You Didn't Try Award, by the way, Clemson.
Quit.
Yeah. Absolute quit watch situation in Death Valley, for the record.
Hey, are we putting UNC on quit watch?
I mean...
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, let's monitor because, early candidate for next week's Bobby Petrino Memorial You Didn't Try Award.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bobby Petrino with the whole motorcycle accident thing, it was like the You Almost Died Award. You know? I'm
going to put a comment in the private chat. I'm not going to
Okay, that sounds good. We'll leave that alone. Speaking of the You Died Award, Queen Elizabeth II Memorial You Died Award. It goes to Carolina initially, but now it's just going to have to go to Cal, unfortunately, for the Golden Bears. As we sit here wrapping up the podcast, it's 34-0 San Diego State with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is an absolute disaster for the Bears. The Kobe Bryant Memorial Volume
Joey,
Shooter.
I'm glad you put that in the private chat, not in the main chat. That's good. Thank you.
That absolutely belonged in the private chat.
And that did. There are very few things said on this podcast. I generally shoot from the hip. Very few things that should not be said. That was certainly one of them.
Yeah. So. That's no regrets there. I don't know. Volume Shooter of the Week award. I mean, SMU had a hell of a time trying to run the ball against TCU.
They did.
UNC had a hell of a time trying to play offense. So, I mean, maybe we just go there. They used 2 different quarterbacks to throw 33 passes that gained them 154 yards.
Yeah, not great.
Kobe.
Oh, boy. All right, Joey. I think this is a good time to wrap because my kid is screaming and my wife's asleep. So I'm going to go take care of that.
Let's do that. Let's get away from the unsanctioned awards for this week.
You
want to come back and preview week 5?
I'll see you on the preview.
We'll see you then. All right, let's get out of here. Mike's going to go manage the crying child, as you know.
Bye, everybody.
The dads of us have to do. Bye, Mike. We're going to get out of here. We're going to come back and preview week 5. Stay tuned here. YouTube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. Should be probably Wednesday night, if I had to guess. Let's look at week 5 real quick and see what we have on the schedule. Yeah, we got a Friday night matchup. So, yeah, let's go with probably Wednesday night, maybe Thursday. Keep it tuned here. YouTube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when we're going to go live. Lee Nobody, better than me, reminding me to remind you about section103.com, the internet's premier place for all things wonderful, Georgia Tech, LSU, and now Georgia Southern apparel. Go find it there. Use promo code GOACC for 10% off your first order. It is high quality. It is fantastic. All the official Tech gold, all the official word marks. It is officially licensed. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, hats, polos, all sorts of wonderful things at section103.com. Every Georgia Tech fan in your life needs something. Men, women, children, babies. They all need it. So go find it there. We're going to come back probably Wednesday night, youtube.com/@the-ACC-football-podcast. We will be previewing week 5. We'd love to have you all back. Appreciate all the folks that were in the chat with us tonight. We had a good crowd. Fun week of football. We're, getting towards the end of September, really getting into conference play. I think if I'm looking at this, almost every game we have in week 5, there's only one out of conference game. We got a whole bunch of ACC on ACC action coming at you next weekend. So join us Wednesday night. Once again, Wednesday night, youtube.com/@the-ACC-football-podcast. We will get you ready for week 5 in the ACC as we continue through the wonderful college football season that is unfolding in front of us. If you're not able to join us live, go find us on audio, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, anywhere you go find us on any of your audio podcasts. Go find us there. Send us an email, basketballconferencepodcast@gmail.com. We'd appreciate that. And otherwise, hit us up in the DMs, Twitter, @FTRSJoey, @Mike McDaniel SI, @BC Podcast ACC. Otherwise, that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining us. Enjoyed week 4. We are going to enjoy week 5 in the ACC. We will talk to you again very, very soon to preview those games. Until then, go ACC.